Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, welcome to my stream, welcome to another chapter. I believe it's chapter 9. Working on this guy right here. That's our P-40E Warhawk by Hasegawa, 1/48 scale. Can you load the intro please, and so I can get started? Yeah, perfect, thank you. Well guys, I'm back and we've got our airplane all scratched up and chipped up and everything like that. Just about maybe half an hour ago I just did a nice coat of gloss clear on it to seal everything in, and so she is ready for our next step and to actually continue on doing the build now that my weathering is done. Didn't do any weathering or any kind of chipping on the bottom because basically on the bottom of the plane is going to be a lot of dirt and grime and stuff like that, so not really doing a lot of chipping. So there we go, there's our plane. Like a few of the chips are a little bit bigger than what I would have liked, maybe a little bigger than realistically. When it was done, I did just take my paper towel and just kind of wiped off the water that I had left on there. And what happened was, in wiping it down, it actually created a few more bigger chips, like this big one here on the wing. I wasn't intending that one, but it is what it is. Same with the back here on the tail, like that was a big one. When I just went and wiped with the paper towel, yeah, it did that. So, and same with this, my little green circle became no longer a circle, it just took it right off. But it is what it is, that's the way it goes. I am looking for a weathered look on it, so yeah. Anyway, so let's look at our instructions. I'll change the camera here so we can see what we're doing, and we will continue on the build, okay? Let's see here. Let's change our camera, and yeah. Okay, so we were back here. We had finished off the underneath of the wings to get that all prepared. So we've got to do our landing gear bay doors, which now in retrospect I think I haven't painted those yet. I don't think I painted those the underside color yet. Let me find those off of our A tree. We dig those out here off of the A tree. That's J. There's only a few sprues left here. Only 3. So off of our A, yeah, see, I have not painted them yet. So I've got to paint them. I'm just going to quickly fire up my airbrush. And I'll just do a quick little coat on these pieces. So I'm going to need a 30 and 31. 30 and 31 are these two here, but I need to paint this side. It's kind of unfortunate, we've got some, I need to address some ejector pin marks. We've got ejector pin marks on these right there. I want to smooth those out a little bit. Smooth those out with some sandpaper so they're not so noticeable. Fortunately, they're not too deep. So a little bit of sandpaper, sand that down. That's going to look better now when it's painted. And then we're going to need these two here on this side. We're going to need these painted here. So let's grab our aircraft gray. We'll see if that is thin enough that I can spray directly out of here if I need to thin it. I might be able to get away with spraying it straight out of the jar since it is just a couple of little pieces. Let's see here. No, that's too thick. It's too thick. I'm going to add some just regular thinner to the jar. Thin this down a little bit. The Mr. Hobby colors are really thick. So yeah, it takes a lot. You need to thin them down quite a bit. Now that should be thin enough that I can actually spray with it. I wasn't expecting to have to spray right off the bat here, so bear with me. It'll only take a second to spray paint these pieces. Table over here. Okay, so just a little bit in the jar. I'm just going to spray these pieces here. Of course, there's a temptation to just leave them the primer gray color, but I don't want to do that. And our little guys, I do want to cover that green. Okay, so I have them now. These guys are more of that kind of a kind of blue, and same with these on these guys here. Okay, so it's going to take a minute to dry, and while that's drying, I'm going to look at this. These are for the rear landing gear, and the bay doors are open, obviously, and I think this side is supposed to be the bluish color, the underside body color. So I'm going to spray paint this also. I'm going to cover the green with our gray. Like that. So now well, it's got one coat anyway. It's going to need another one. I'll give it a second to kind of dry just for a minute. Give it a second to dry for a minute. How about that? That makes sense, right? I do have my exhausts all assembled. They're sitting over here off camera. I got them all stuck to a piece of masking tape because they are all unique and they're lettered. So they are just slightly different designs depending on where they go on here. So I didn't want to get them all mixed up because that would be a nightmare trying to figure out which is which. So I just got a piece of masking tape and I put A, B, C, D on there and I just put them all down. I have the preliminary color. I've got them painted with the Panzer Aces by Vallejo. They call it Oxidoclarn Light Rust. Yeah, and that's what it looks like there. That's my base color on those. So we have everything else put on here except our V's. The V5 in that section there, that's got to go in. Remember the little holes, these got to be painted silver. Spots like this, and there's another one, I believe it's this one. Yeah, it's supposed to be silver in there. So I'll have to do that before I put those on. Okay, that's had enough time to dry. I'll put my second coat on there. Okay, so that's got two coats on there. I need to clean my airbrush. I can't just leave it with paint in it. Let's take my excess. So I'll spend the next few minutes cleaning my airbrush. I've gotten this down to a pretty quick process, so it doesn't take me quite as long to clean it all out like it used to. It used to take me quite a long time to really clean it out and make sure. And still used to get paint on the inside of the shaft kind of thing, and my needle would stick and not really cooperate with me. But I've got it down to a point now where it works pretty good. I still do have to take the time to get in there with my brush though, and clean the needle as I pull it back to get the paint off of it. But it is what it is. This is the part that I used to not do. So I dip my needle in and put it in backwards, and you can see, well, maybe you can't see, but I actually wind up, I can see paint getting pushed back into the cup from the shaft, and so then I just keep putting the needle twisted and put it back and forth like that, and it cleans all that paint out of there back into the cup so that I can, so it's clean and smooth and I don't have to worry about paint drying on the inside of the shaft again. Just to soak up any leftover thinner in there, and then call that done. And one last dip of the needle into the thinner, wipe all the paint off, and then let that dry. And so that's it. Okay, our brush is dry. Our brush is clean. Airbrush is clean. Okay, so let's go back to this. We've got A30 and 31 we're going to put on. These two here. Okay. That was 31. Okay, 31 here. Okay. And then this is number 30. Now on the floor trying to disappear on me. There we go, that's 30. So 30 goes on this side, and we're going to go in right there. So this, I'm going to put 31 over here right now. 30. Goes here, and it's going to go on the inside right here. And it's just going to sit like this. There's no real definitive ledge or anything like that. It just kind of sits, I guess. It's almost like it's just, I don't know. It's a little confusing because it's just there's no tab, there's no nothing. And this piece, it's not square, it's got a little chamfer, it's angled and then does this. And so I'm not sure how that's supposed to actually sit. It actually looks like I have it upside down, which means the flat edge goes down. I got a bit of a nub on there. Okay, so the flat edge goes down, which doesn't really help because we have a nice sharp tip here. Unless they just want it put in right here like this, which is possible, just like that against the edge. And if that's the case, yeah, so this flat edge here is supposed to go up against this wall, which means painting this was useless. Painting it was pointless. Let's grab this glue. Painting it was absolutely pointless. Glue there, and we're going up against the wall here, like so. Yeah, just like that. Okay. Do the same with this guy. A little glue in there. Glue in there. There we go. Okay, so that's in. Those are in. And now we had our clear pieces, but we need some silver paint. So I'm going to grab some silver here. Which one shall I use? I'm going to use my super bright LP-40E sparkling silver. This, I believe, is the most shiniest metallic silver that you're ever going to find by Tamiya. I have maybe 5 or 6 different variations of silver and aluminum from Tamiya, and this one is the most brightest, craziest looking silver. Even their X11 chrome is nowhere near as shiny as this. This one is just out of the ballpark silver. No comparison at all. And I'm going to do these little guys in here. I haven't got the most time to work on this today. I wish I had more time, but there's not much I can do. It's the way it is. Now, I could have used the Molotow chrome. It doesn't say that it's supposed to be like super bright shiny chrome in there, so I'm not concerned about that. Okay, let's clean the brush. I find with the Molotow chrome, you put glue over it, it dulls it down to a silver anyway, so if at the end of the day you're just going to wind up with silver, well, then why not use the Tamiya, which is a little durable, right? Okay, so our little one back here, that goes with V6. So V, of course, is our clear tree. I need number 6. There's this one here. And then for the bigger one, we need 5, which is right beside it. So let's get our little nub balls off of these first. And we'll get 6 off of the tree. Okay. And let's see if I can grab that with the tweezers. There we go. And drop him in there. Oh, he fell right into the spot he needs to go. How about that? And then I'm going to use this thin glue. And doink. There we go. See how it just turned kind of gray, right? That's the nature of the game. So then we need number 5. And he's going to drop in right there. There we go. Okay, so those are in. I think that finishes off this particular page. I've got everything else on there. Got this in there. Got that put in. Our pod is over here. That's on there. This our chin is in. Yeah, everything else on this page is done. So let's flip our page and take a look at what's next. Oh, our fuel tank. We can put our fuel tank pits on. Q2 and Q12. Okay. And they're going to go into our little holes that we have pre-drilled here. Q2 and 12. So here's 2. And let's go that. And like that. There's Q2. Let's get the other Q2. Alright, we're going to need 12 in a minute, but we'll deal with those as we need them. Q2, they go up front. They're going to go in the front ones. And so we're going to take this, and it's going to go in like that. See if we can get that to actually go all the way down there. There we go. Yeah, just like that. Okay. Take this guy. The fact that it goes in all the way tells me that I drilled my holes big enough. Which can be a challenge. Okay, so that's those two. Now I need to Q12 for the back. It's these smaller ones. Okay, there's one. I'm not going to mount the fuel tank just yet. I want to do the weathering and everything on the fuel tank before I actually mount it. Okay. I got a bit of a nub here I need to remove. There we go. Let's check this one. Probably similar. Uh-oh. Well, that one hit the floor. It's gone. Ah, there we go. Thank you, George. All right. ugly nubs. Okay. Similar fashion, this one goes on here. Sorry if my head's in the way. Yeah, so this one doesn't really want to go in the hole all the way, which means my hole here is not quite big enough. So we need to drill that out a little bit. Let's grab this one. And since we know that one's not big enough, this one's won't be either. There we go. There we go. Now they're big enough. There we go. Okay. All right. Now the fuel tank does just kind of sit on them. So here's our fuel tank. It does line up here, but when these sit down on it, or when it sits in there, it just kind of cradles them. Those, our other pieces, just kind of sit onto the side. So we get that lined up in there, those holes. It's going to sit like this. And so as you can see, they just kind of sit on the side. They just touch it on the sides here. Right? And that's all they do. So, yeah, don't worry about it if they're not perfectly lined up. All they do is just rest it on the sides. So our fuel tank sits like that, and that's it. Okay? So we can just, like I said, I still got, so I want to do the weathering on the tank before I actually mount it, and also it allows for doing the streaking and the weathering underneath there without having to navigate around the tank. Okay, anyway, so that's that. I think I do have a piece. I got to put 06 on the fuel tank itself. 06, where's my O tree? O. Here we go. 06 is our basically fuel cap. It's the gas cap on the tank. That guy there. He's got to go right, yeah, it goes on there. Right there like that. So I'll just hold him there. Of all the weird things, I had a hair in the glue. There we go. Okay, fuel tank, the gas cap's on. Okay, so that's going to be it for this. Okay, so that's on there, done. When applying the decal, do not attach 06. So you have the choice. You can put the decal on there, or you can do the gas cap. Obviously, I've done the gas cap because you just watched me put it on there. Okay. Anyway, so landing gear. we've got time. We've got to do our landing gear. So we have our bits here, and where's my other shaft here? Here, and I've got my wheels all painted and done. Okay. I'm gonna have to do some weathering on the tires, but that's fine. Now these are resin, so I need to use CA glue to glue them onto the axle shafts. Okay, like this. Now that is a tight fit. That is really tight. So I'm gonna try and sand these down, or maybe file them down a little bit. Take some of the paint off of this. Maybe that's a bit of a hindrance. Yeah, there's also a parting line, a seam line on there. So that's obviously going to restrict our fitment. I have not test fit these really before, so this is all new. And of course, you guys already know, it's all doing the resin wheels instead of the kit wheels. This is one of the kit wheels. Okay, so that would slide onto here. So even that's a really tight fit, super tight on there. And of course, I believe, my personal opinion is, they made the resin wheels, they did a really good job at making them pretty much the exact same hole size as the kit wheels, but due to imperfections in molding, yeah, see, now it slides on there. So that'll be good once you get to, they don't go very deep, do they? How about this one? Yeah, that goes a lot further, so I need to fix that. Come on. This kind of goes there and it stops dead. So I don't think that won't fit. I need something that's going to fit through there. Here we go. I use my airbrush needle. That only goes that deep. It only goes that deep. And then it hits. So that restricts things. So what I can do, since it does only go that deep, I can trim off the axle. You can either trim off the axle or you can drill into it. I'm choosing to trim the axle. I'm going to go little by little, like that. And see. Of course, that also means I need to totally clean the axle, the whole axle. Get that. I think this is going to take up the rest of my time that I have. So cleaning this up. Get in there. That looks much better. That looks a lot more realistic. Okay. So I'm going to spend the time to get this one the same. Let's line those up. And eyeball it. There we go. They look pretty similar now. Okay, let's do a test fit on this one. Same deal, I gotta file it all down. Guys, I think I've got enough time to do my wheels. Do these wheels and then I'm gonna have to leave. I gotta leave. This time's running out. It's funny how random my chat is, you know. The other day I had someone in my chat and say, hello fellow gamers, like, sorry dude, this is not a gaming channel. Not sure why he thought it was a gaming channel when he joined. There we go, we're in. Perfect. Okay, so I need some CA glue. Let's see if I gotta drill this open again. Looks like I might be able to squeeze some out of there. My glue is getting thick. There we go. It's really thick and plugging up a lot. It's just about time to buy a new one. Okay, let's put some on the axle. Okay, and put our wheel on. There we go. Making sure I do have the bottom lined up. I suppose what actually would have been wise is to attach this first. How do the wheels go? They go like this, right? No, they go like this. Or do they? They go like this. It'd be a good idea to see how this is going to mount. That is a tight fit. To get that lined up in there is a tight fit. Has to be this side. Seeing how these are going to go, basically got 4 pins that need to line up with these 2 pins, and this third one need to all line up into these holes, and they don't really want to. And it's kind of because this tab here, this tab right there, let me get this flat tab that kind of acts as a brace to line it all up, doesn't really slide in all that nicely, and the parting line on it makes it a really tight fit into those slots. So let's scrape that all off. Same with the parting line on the bottom of the shaft here, although it's going in a hole, so it doesn't really matter too much. This is why you test fit without glue. That's fitting in a little, sliding into its spot a little better now. Still not going down far enough for that to line up. It's a better fit. It's tighter now. But still not quite enough. So what I'm going to do, it seems that these tabs are actually interfering just a little bit. So I'm going to try and trim them off just a hair. Just like maybe 1/2 millimeter. Just a little sliver. To convince this to sit down a little deeper in there. And maybe I can get these to line up. It's still hitting. See, these guys don't want to really line up in their holes. This one at all. Still really got to push down to get it to line up. That's in, and that's how that's going to sit. There's really not any play. That's where that's going to sit exactly. Just like that. That's one side. And I'm running out of time here. Which tells me I'm going to have to do this later on, because next, let me flip the page here. We're going to have to deal with this next time, okay? I'm going to have to figure out the fitment of that for the other side, and then we'll put on a rest and we'll continue that next time. So, which means I'm not doing my CA glue, I'm not putting my wheels on today. Thought I'd be able to, but I can't. Okay? So with the weird fitment of those and the trimming I need to do, it's taking a lot longer than I thought it would. I thought I'd be able to get that done, but we'll have to do that next time. And also, I'm going to have to paint A2 and A3. I'm going to have to do the colors on that, the underside. A2 and A3 are the other doors, the inside doors that are going to go right here on each side at the front. So that's where I'm going to leave it, guys. Like I said, I'm going to have to figure out. That is a tight fit, so tight. We'll have to do that next time. So down below in the description box, you're going to see some links to my Twitch, links to my Instagram, things like that. On my Instagram, I do upload whenever I finish a project like one of these. All my models I build, I take a few pictures of them and I put them up on my Instagram, and so you can check those out if you so feel like. I do invite you, please leave a comment down below. Let me know how you feel about this stuff. And hit the like button. And if you haven't already, I know a good 70% of you watch my videos, you don't subscribe. So come on, just hit that subscribe button, guys. Come on. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Thanks for all the support. And yeah, we'll see you all in the next one.